And we're live with David Hewlett, star of big and small screen and avid geek. That's it. Just an avid geek. So I'm going to let David introduce himself to you and everybody else. Well, here we are. All right, David, it's on you, buddy.
Well, I finally got here, so I have to start by. I should start by apologizing. I was geeking out at this surgical robotics event, and I left a little early, just in time to catch a delay on the subway. So that was my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But it's I'm happy it worked out, and we've already started talking. I'm enjoying this already.
Well, me too, buddy. I mean, and that's what these interviews are. These are not like, sit down and pointed questions and stuff like that. I will ask some, but it's just a casual chat to get to know you, get to know what you do, not acting wise, but maker wise. We know what you do actor wise.
Yeah.
I do have a question about one acting thing though.
Oh, do whatever. Yeah, whatever.
I had never seen Penn. Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
What
nightmare?
What happened to that gorgeous guy with that chiseled chin and everything that was on that show, man?
M&M's, chips,
yes,
and Jamaican ginger beer.
Ginger beer, I got you. All right, so let's get into the maker's world, because I read a little bit of your bio and I didn't know this about you, but you were a PC geek in high school and earlier than that, and then you decided you wanted to be an actor. So what are your thoughts on when you started? I mean, do you see where you could have went down the other path?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was Commodore 64. My dad was this weird kind of nerd in that he was a doctor, OB-GYN. You don't get more uptight than a British OB-GYN. And he started running his office off this Commodore 64, and he embraced it in a way like a true kind of hacker. He would write little scripts and little batch files once we went to the IBM clones. And I was so taken with it. And then when the cyberpunk literature started coming out, like, Neuromancer and Snow Crash, all that kind of, Snow Crash a bit later, but that kind of stuff, I was so enthralled by that kind of world that I went and got a modem for the Commodore 64, started doing all the bulletin boards. And then I was doing a TV series, and I thought, this is it, I'm quitting. I'm getting out of acting. I'm done. And I went and worked as an IT guy, completely self-trained, for this voicemail company that was doing packet network stuff with voicemail just before the internet hit, before the internet became like public. And so I got like my first internet account, and then it was like, and then I got hired to pretend to be a nerd on television and realized it paid better.
Well, you and I are only 4 years difference in age. Okay? I was born in 70.
Much better.
Yeah, I was born in 72, and my first computer was the VIC-20, the smaller brother of the Commodore 64.
Oh yeah, VIC-20. Yeah, I remember the VIC-20. Yeah,
absolutely.
Now was that before or after the Sinclair?
What's that now?
Hello, you got a guest.
Well,
you've got
to have a guest. I don't need the phone. She was bringing me the phone, and I don't really need the phone.
They're calling you. You're on a
yesterday during my show, my mother called and would not get off the phone. I was sitting here, okay, Mom, all right, okay. You can't hang up on your mother, though,
It is very hard to hang up on your mother. Yeah, that's true. I called mine this morning.
So you decided to go into acting, but you didn't lose any of that tech want that was in your head, did you?
I mean, look, I've always loved it. I feel like I feel like I couldn't concentrate on as much as I'd like to have because of the acting. And there was definitely a time in there in my sort of mid to late 20s where I started concentrating more on the acting side of stuff and writing and all that kind of jazz. But always, the tech was always something I sort of tried to keep up on. And I never finished high school, right? I was like a high school dropout. So, but weirdly, I always loved learning. So I had this like voracious, everything I still do. I like reading manuals, whether I have the thing or not. I like the manuals.
Right.
So especially when it came to computers, I loved knowing everything about it. Like when I do a film, I find out what camera they're shooting with. I'll read the manual on the camera because I just want to know how it works, you know? So yes, total nerd. I have not lost that.
I hear you. And it kept on your Wikipedia. It follows down through there, and you kept up on the tech. And then when you had kids, you became the tech sponsor, I guess, of their school PC.
Well, that was like a weird thing. That was like, that's my tilting at windmills thing. My son just wasn't getting, I didn't feel like he was getting the tech side of stuff. Like, they were doing some science stuff, but it was all very sort of, and even the coding stuff was like, everyone sit down and write the same code. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so boring. Like, it's not, I know it's important to know this stuff, and some kids would do it, but my kid wouldn't do it. I mean, and I wouldn't have done it either. Like, when I first took computer programming, I was using punch cards. I mean, and I was bored out of my mind. And so I'd go home and play on the Commodore 64 and not see the connection. Yeah. Right. So I used to tell people I hate computers, but I was on one all the time. I just didn't see it as the same thing as, the real computers, as the nerds would call it.
Right. Right.
So well, terrors. Sorry, go.
No, I do want to say hello to my daughter, Danielle Gray, that just had the new grandchild.
Woohoo!
Thank you for my new granddaughter.
And I'm sorry about any sleep you won't have now.
Absolutely. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
No.
I had to raise her, and I'm not sorry at all.
That's it. You just don't realize just how much work it is until you get one of your own.
Well, she's already got a 4-year-old, so now she's got a 4 and a new year.
She's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, right. But okay, so let's move into the 3D printing side of things. When in your, I'm gonna say life, but in your life, did you?
I don't really have a life. It's hard to call. You should have another word for it.
When would you think that you thought to yourself, 3D printing would be cool to get into? When did that enter your mind?
I mean, it was actually fairly recent. I mean, I've been eyeing this stuff for a while, but never really had an excuse to get one. So once again, I did a lot of reading of manuals and looking at tutorials and stuff of how other printers had worked, and then started doing research, which is, to me, one of the funnest parts of buying any tech, is just learning everything you can know about it. You paralyzes you trying to make a decision. But for me, the Prusa was very easy because I really wanted a kit, because I wanted the kid to be involved, even if it was just to show up every so often and go like, oh, look, it looks a little bigger than it was before. But then I got the kit, and I was like, all of a sudden I went, oh my God, I've never done this before. Like, what if I can't do it? I'd have sort of that, but it was just one of the best experiences. I thought the way he put together the tutorials for how to build it, all of the materials that come with it, even coming down to, like, I got 2 bags of jelly bears.
Right.
Be happy while I was building it. The guy knows nerds. The guy is a nerd. He's great.
Yeah, and it's really funny because I love peanut M&Ms. I don't really care for gummy bears.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not a gummy bear guy. Matter of fact, the ones that I got with my Prusa ended up becoming so hard because I opened them and I ate like 1 or 2 while I was doing it just so I would eat one. But they became so hard I had to throw them away. And then this bag came with the MMU2, and you can see it's still half a bag.
Oh, wow. No, mine did not last that long. My son would come down to help by eating part of the bag, basically. Yeah, peanut M&Ms I'm a huge fan of. But the other thing was, keep in mind, I was a huge Doctor Who fan, so I grew up on Jelly Babies.
Yeah, no, I get it. Me too. We had 3 channels when I was growing up. We had CBS, we had ABC, and we had PBS.
Right.
So we would get Doctor Who late night at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It would come on PBS.
Yeah, that was us too. Ours was earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, but we had to move the rabbit ear so we could get it just right, so it was clear. And I had a little 13-inch black and white in my bedroom that I got to watch.
Oh my God! Well, get this. So when I was a kid, probably like around your age, same thing. Doctor Who was on. It was on a couple of times for us at weird times, and I found an old black and white TV in the garbage. And I brought it home, and I don't know what I did, but I somehow got it working. And then I hung out the window and tied into our cable. But fell out of the window while I was doing it and had to climb back up. Like, I was dead. I should have been dead. But anyways, I sorted it out, and I used to hide it, this massive, big black and white TV. I hid it under pillows at the end of the bed, and I put a little crystal earpiece.
Right.
And which was wired straight into the TV because there was no ports, right? And And so I would pretend to be doing my homework, and I'd just be watching, you know, whatever the hell was on, mainly Doctor Who stuff. But did you get the scientist before yours?
The what?
Did you get, it was not before, after. Was there a scientist or a science fiction writer who spoke after the show for you?
No.
Oh man, it was the best thing. I guess because it's a British half hour, right? So it's a full 30 minutes. And so they've got this gap of time that they wanted to fill, and it wasn't a full show. So they had this sci-fi writer who would come on and talk about the science potential of the stuff in Doctor Who. So for me, it like inextricably sort of bound the two of these things together, and science was science fiction, was science, like it was all the same to me. So I spent my entire childhood trying to make a freaking sonic screwdriver.
Well, you have to think of where I live too. You know, I'm in the United States, so the British half hour probably didn't happen back then. Plus, I'm in the southern United States, the very, very deep south.
Right.
So, yeah, Doctor Who wasn't even a thing, really. You know.
Well, Doctor Who was bigger in Canada because there's such an expat audience here.
Right.
But yeah, it was Doctor Who sort of come into its own in the States recently. I'm sorry, I have to eat my M&Ms now while we're talking.
No, you go right ahead. Brian Vine said Tom Baker was his first Doctor Who, and it was mine as well, and still my favorite, no matter what. You know what?
I lie. He was the first Doctor that really turned me from a fan into a fanatic. Was Tom Baker, but I did start with Pertwee because he was on in England when we first started watching. I was 4.
Right. One of the first things I printed was the Raspberry Pi TARDIS, so that I could put my Raspberry Pi in it to run Octoprint. It's a TARDIS Raspberry Pi case.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was so cool, and I wish I knew where it was at. I don't know. I've since then went away from it, but you know.
Yeah, this is the problem. My wife, she can't come down here and stay for any period of time because she has to tidy up, and I'm like, don't touch anything. I'll never.
No, I know exactly where it's supposed to be. Now leave it alone.
I know roughly that it's in this room somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah. I think the first thing I did was I printed a gecko weather station. It's still in pieces over there, but we have a gecko, and I wanted to. My son and I were worried about whether it was the right temperature and humidity and all that stuff. So we went and got a couple of sensors and an Arduino and put together this little weather station for the gecko. But I still, as always, about 50 million unfinished projects, you know.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And the gecko's alive and twice the size he was when we got him, so I figure he's all right.
Well, so your first 3D printer was the Prusa.
Still is. It's my first and only one.
Your only printer, really?
I do. Yeah, I know they're kind of like tattoos. You need more than one, don't you?
Now, is it a Mark II or a Mark III?
Mark II.
Okay, so you have the threaded. You definitely need to get you a Mark III.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's that much better than the Mark II.
Well, haven't they gone with they've got another one as well now, don't they? Like they have a new that's not SLA, whatever it's called, or
no, they're going to do the SLA. They haven't released it yet, I don't think.
Oh, okay. All right.
They bought an SLA company.
Oh, okay. All right.
They have an upgrade path for your Mark II to the Mark III.
Is it worth doing that?
Well, yeah, because this one feature right here, is worth it.
So you can change the bed without changing the bed, basically.
Yep. You just pull the bed off, and when your print's done, you go pop, pull it off.
That is nice because I got scratches all over mine.
Not only that, it has in the head here, it has a filament runout sensor, so that if you run out of filament, it'll stop, back it out, and say, pull this out, put new filament in. You don't have to monitor.
Right. Yeah. It reminds me, I mean, it's much better than it was, but it reminds me of like the dot matrix days of printing. Like I feel like we're there right now. It's really good, and the potential is there, but there's still that kind of. It still takes some real balls to set it to print and walk away.
Well, and we're starting to see glimpses of that. Not so much speed wise. I think that's the biggest drawback of FDM printing is the speed. Okay, because SLA, DLP, you know, if you print 5 on the bed, it's the same time as this 1.
Yeah.
You know, here that doesn't work that way. If you print 5, it's 5 times as long.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Sometimes
I'm not doing a lot of 5 things. The only thing I want to find a good robotic arm to print.
Yeah.
Because that's like crack for kids. Well, actually crack for kids. But from a robotic standpoint, you know, a robotic arm is a great way to teach kids.
Yeah, you just got me demonetized, really. You know, I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
We're selling crack for kids.
Isn't YouTube down anyways? I mean, isn't that?
It was down yesterday for what, 4 hours or something like that. It was
4 hours.
It was. I know it was. I know it was at least 3. I know it was at least 3.
Really? What was, you know, what it was like? What was the issue?
I never researched it today. I don't know.
You don't want to know. I don't want to know.
They're back up. We're having our interview. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And you're running off of Jenny right now.
No, we got our power back.
Oh, you did? Okay, all right.
We did. Yes. No, but
I wanted to talk generators because I bought it. We used to live out in Washington State, and I went and bought a diesel generator.
Yeah.
Was it diesel? No, it was diesel that we converted to propane.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I loved that thing.
Yeah, ours is about a 10 kilowatt, and we hook it right into our power pole.
Yeah.
Power comes in, and you just plug it in, and basically the house runs.
Ours was an automatic switch. So we had an automatic switch put in. So when the power went down, this thing would kick in, and it was, God, it sounded like someone was, you know, driving a tank through the back of the house, but it was amazing.
They have them now, so they're like whisper quiet.
Are they really whisper quiet though? Is that,
well, compared to what I've got outside? Yes, they're whisper quiet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going from the Mark II to the Mark III as far as quietness.
And you're going to keep rubbing this in, aren't you? You're just going to keep.
Yeah. No, you got to get one.
But wait a second. But the upgrade kit will make it quieter too.
Yes, it is. It is so quiet. No joke. You could put this on your nightstand and print beside your head while you sleep.
Well, I might. So that's, you know, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you would fall in love with it. And I'm not a Prusa salesman. Believe me, I'm not.
So this is the thing about the Prusas that I love. And I'm sorry, it does sound like we're just totally marketing it, but it's that it's built by geeks for geeks. He loves this stuff and he makes you love it too. Like, I mean, it's a kind of kit. And again, it's also now that like kind of, I got this warm fuzzy thing about it too, because it was something my son and I did around the Christmas holidays last year. Like I love it. And also it's like bulletproof. I mean, I can't, it's hard to screw stuff up on it.
Yeah. Shane from Prusa Research just said we are. Checks are in the mail.
Very good. Very good. Screw the checks, just send the printers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just send another printer. I'll be good.
Yeah, fine with me. One of my favorite images is his farm. Have you seen the Prusa farm where he's got a whole room of printers just printing Prusas?
300 printers in a room.
Yeah. It's amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, if I could make a living in the 3D printing world, that would be great.
That's true. I mean, this is the problem is I feel like, and if you're anything like me, I feel like every new wave of stuff, I go like, how can I do this forever?
Yeah.
Like, how do I, you know, and there's always something else, but right now I'm working with this Let's Talk Science charity organization and doing some videos for them. And so I get to explore, I mean, it's basically an excuse for me to do what I would do anyways, but I get to do things like go to the surgical robotics thing and have like a reason why I'm there instead of just going like, I'm a nerd on television, like, you know, which is what I was saying up until now. But like big data, AI, all this stuff, there's so many wicked blockchain stuff. There's so many wickedly cool technologies out there to explore.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, that's my wife. Whenever I first got into this, she was like, oh no, another hobby.
Right.
But because I've had so many, because you get to a point where you've done all you can do. You know, we did guns, we did knives, we did survival, we did Jeeps, we've done motorcycles, we've done,
really?
you get to a point where you can go on as far as you can go.
I did motorcycles. I got pretty far into motorcycles. I was actually going to go, I was thinking about in one of my wilder fantasies, I was like, I'm moving to California and I'm going to become a motorcycle mechanic. Because I'd taken like one course up here.
Right.
And I loved it. God, there is nothing more beautiful than a combustion engine. Like it is just gorgeous.
I think my favorite one was the Jeep. Just the Jeep, because we jacked it up. We had big 35-inch tires under it. You know, we just do just whatever. And it would go wherever I wanted. And then my son-in-law totaled it. So
ooh.
Yeah. But he did give me 2 good grandchildren, so I have to forgive him.
And he's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were all okay. They were actually him, my daughter, and my grandchild were in it when they got hit, and you know, they were all okay. So I mean, I was happy.
Oh, they're built. I mean, those things are built. If you want to get hit in something, that's the thing to get hit in. I mean,
so were you a Star Trek fan or?
I was original Stargate, Stargate. I was original Star Trek, and then started watching TNG. Liked it, but was never like I never got into the nuances of it so much. I loved the movies. I used to watch them. I mean, when that first movie came out, I was like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing ever.
Now, well, I don't want to get off on movies because we can talk about that all day. But the replication that they did in there is what I thought of when I got a 3D printer.
Yeah.
You know? Well,
and sorry, you go, Google.
No, and then you get it and you go to print a spoon and you're like, okay, 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
It seems, and it's one of the things I struggle with the kids in this tech terrorist thing is that, you know, 3D printing is really cool, except it takes a really long time and the kids get bored so fast. So I found that it was just a great way. I would bring the printer in every so often. That's the other thing. Talk about bulletproof. I drag this thing on a little sand cart back and forth to the local high school every couple of weeks.
Right.
And it's been great. It's pouring rain, it's like sleet, everything. And it's you know, with a plastic bag stuck over it. It's just been great. But so what I've done is I've used it to get them into 3D design stuff, and that's working really well because you bring the printer in, they see the printer going, they're like, I want to make something. You go, well, you know, let's go to Thingiverse and see what there is, you know?
Yeah.
And they design something that's just impossible to print, but that's not the point.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and that is another thing, you know, you see something and you're like, oh yeah, I'll print that. And then you say, okay, it's going to take 10 hours plus it's going to take a half a roll of plastic for supports.
Is it worth? Oh yeah. Well, that was an eye opener to me, but that's also genius. Like I love the way it figures that out. And then you're just watching these little buildings appear. It's fantastic.
Well, see, I write software for a living. I've been a software developer for 23 years now.
What sort of stuff? What are you writing?
Most of it's web application and client server stuff, back end.
What are you writing in?
Right now I'm in .NET and C# and
great.
.NET Core. Yeah, it's .NET Core stuff. It's cross-platform, so.
Right. I did Java when it first came out. I got the developers kit and played with that for a while. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. And then a little bit of C. Programming is fantastic. Like programming, I just don't have the patience for it. And I'll spend a week writing something and then someone will replace it with one line of code.
Yeah, right.
You know, like I'm basically still at the go to line 30 loop.
Well, the cool thing about programming to me is it's kind of like building houses, because I built houses right after I got out of the Army. And it's kind of like that when at the end of the day you step back and go, I did that. You know, I built that.
And you know when it's right. This is the thing that kills me with acting is there's no right or wrong. You know what I mean? There's there are takes that some people will see, some people won't. They choose which one they like, which one they don't like. And at the end of the day, you come home and you're like, I don't know. Like, I think it went well. I don't. Whereas with coding, you can go like, you have days where you're just like bashing your head against the desk in frustration. But when it works, it's like, it's like nothing else.
The heavens open up, the sun shines down on you, and you're like,
coding is the best thing in the world. And then it doesn't work anymore, and you're like, I hate it.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Oh, no, it's wonderful. I'm jealous. I wish I could do more coding. I love it. Just love it.
So you do Arduino stuff and things of that nature too. I saw one of your videos where you did a robotic arm. You took one of those little remote control cheesy arms and put an Arduino.
These great little OWC drive things. Where are they? Here's one here. I got like 3 of these things now because they're sort of cheap and cheap and cheerful. But basically, they come with give me that, with a controller. So you replace the controller with an Arduino, and the kids go crazy because it's now, how.
Well, it reminds me of, what was that Radio Shack thing that you could buy?
Oh yeah, what was that?
You remember? Somebody will know the name of it in the chat. I forgot it.
Something Tronic or
something like that. It was so cool, man.
I wanted that. It was so expensive though. I remember.
I know.
It was like out of the realm of possibility.
I didn't get one until I was like 14 or something.
Oh God! Well,
when they came, yeah, Armatron. That's it,
Armatron. That's it, Armatron. I knew it was something like that. Armatron. Wow, well done, guys.
And of course, it was Brian Vines that came up with that.
Oh, Brian knew that? Of course he does.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
He's, you know, that the guy sent me a laptop, his old laptop.
No, yeah, I saw the whole
lifesaver.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. You had this specific model, and he had one he wasn't using.
Oh my God, he saved my life. Of course, now my wife's using it because her laptop's gone down. So I will get it back, but she's bored at the time being.
Well, I will tell you, and it's one thing that we discuss a lot on here. That's the cool thing about this whole community. Is the maker community here. Like we've got a designer in the chat, Ricky Tanner. He does 3D design. He didn't even have a printer. So people sent him a printer so he could print the designs and then put them on Thingiverse so they could print them.
Huh.
You know, so it's helped.
That's the promise of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the tech side of stuff. I love the maker side of stuff. I like the way, you know, I always joke that there's always a nerd who knows a nerd. Like I seem to, one of the, I think the biggest blessings of Stargate for me is that it's just opened so many doors into technology and stuff that I just didn't have before.
Well, you know, and here's my question, because you see a lot of TV shows and sci-fi shows where the actors are like, yeah, I really wasn't into sci-fi. I kind of read it right before I got in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the Big Bang Theory. The only one on there is what's her name from Blossom. That's like super smart because she's like a brain surgeon or something, right?
Yeah. Well, sorry,
forgot her name, but yeah, she played on Blossom.
She was on Blossom. Wait a sec. Is she
Malik?
Malik?
What's that?
She's his girlfriend in the show.
Yeah. She's Sheldon's girlfriend. Yeah.
And so she's actually like a nerd.
Hold on. Open the door, baby. I couldn't hear you. Mayim Bialik. That's
Mayim Bialik. Thank you.
Yeah, that was my wife. She used to watch Blossom, by the way.
That's too funny.
But yeah, she's like a neurosurgeon or something on the reel, you know. Wow. It's kind of like Dolph Lundgren. When you hear him talk, you'd be like, what? And he's got like a PhD in some physics or something.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I worked with Sylvester Stallone, and he impressed the hell out of me too. How, you know,
I did a paper on him a while back. It was a research paper for one of my friends I was helping with. I didn't realize what he had written and directed. You know what I mean?
I mean, he literally is a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And work ethic.
Fun King 3D says Maya's a neuroscientist.
Neuroscientist. Okay, great. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. My daughter went to University of Florida for biochemical engineering. So.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. No, she's way above where I'm at.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I think there's also a place, and this is where I guess maybe just because I'm older now and I'm a little less sort of like self-conscious about it, but there's a place for the jack of all trades. There's a place for somebody who knows a little bit about everything. And I think that's where the maker community really pays off to me, where you can find people who can help out with the bits that you don't understand. It's more about sort of motivating this stuff. And for me, with the kids, I mean, I don't understand why. Like I went into high school loving science. I wanted to be Doctor Who. When I found out I couldn't be Doctor Who, I was like, great, then I'm just going to have to be a genius scientist. And that just got thrashed out of me in school. Like I had just no interest at all. But the acting really took off because I had a teacher who really was like, hey, you're good at this. You should do this. And I don't wish that it was a scientist instead, but I just think it's so, and I also had a group of friends who were making films.
No, I hadn't read that.
It's a real interesting book because it talks about the fact that, there's this fallacy that people just come out of nowhere. They're like, from poverty to riches and this and that. Yeah. And the reality is that we all come from a support structure. And without that support structure, you don't hear about these geniuses. You know what I mean? Yes. Like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer stabbed his math teacher and was a friend to the communists or something. As I can't remember what exactly it was, but he was like the last person you'd think they'd put in charge of the bomb.
Right, right.
But he got it because he was of good pedigree, and because he was raised with that certain entitlement, he could take the reins and talk people into letting him do this stuff.
Yeah. No,
it's a great book. If you get a chance, read it. It's really like the other thing is it talks about is how like all hockey players are born between a certain series of months because that's when the cutoff is for getting into the teams.
I got you.
It's really neat. Really neat.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was a lead singer in a band for a while, and
I was drums.
Yeah, were you? Yeah, when I grew up down here, and it was a different time than it is now. Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't do theater as a guy. You didn't do chorus as a guy.
No.
I was in band, and that was bad enough, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So luckily my daughter that's at UF, she got that gene, I guess, from me. And she's in the theater at UF and all that stuff. She does all that stuff.
Oh, great.
I just like to talk. People listen. It's
interesting because there's a lot of the educational stuff talks about like we got to get kids coding and girls coding and this and that and while I agree with the sentiment, my concern is you don't want to throw out the arts entirely because we have to be able to do something that robots can't and AI
absolutely
can't. You know, that creative spark is so essential. I mean, I'm not saying actors are essential or anything, but the ability to be able to come up with a story or come up with a new way of looking at stuff is really I think is much maligned. And there's a tendency to go like, oh, you got to concentrate on coding. The reality is coding will be done by AI in the next 10 years anyways. I mean,
right. Well, one problem I have, David, is kind of like what you were talking about. Your dreams of becoming Doctor Who were bashed when you got into high school.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because they have such a structure that it makes it mundane. You know, it's not exciting to kids. I mean, especially now when you have this instantaneous gratification world and they have to sit through these hour-long lectures of this is how covalent bonds work. And that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
It's got to be. They've got to change it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing up in Canada. The same issue. We are stuck in this system of a person standing at the front of a classroom teaching people stuff, and it doesn't work. And also, I don't want the best math teacher they can find in this neighborhood to do it. When he can go onto YouTube and listen to the best minds in mathematics,
exactly
teaching them the same stuff.
Yeah,
it needs to be integrated somehow.
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Khan Academy. You do Khan Academy at all?
No.
Oh, another great one. If you just want to go and just like, I think I'm going to learn about chemistry today. You just go in and it's just this crazy guy who's made like 1 million of these videos. It's an organization now, but his idea is no one should not be able to get a basic education. I mean, so for someone like me who didn't get a basic education, it is just fantastic. And there's so many of these things now.
Now, yeah, I have been out because Harvard actually, they offer free classes. You can go and take Harvard lectures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I have done some of their physics classes and stuff like that. I
gotta do that. I gotta do more of that.
See how dumb I really am.
What was that?
I said it just shows how dumb I really am when I sit there and watch it, you know.
But you know what? If you come in and you don't mind being that person, it's a big difference. The problem is when I was in high school, I was terrified of looking like an idiot. Now I know I am one, so it's
right.
Fine. It's a little more difficult when you play one on television. When you play a genius on television,
yeah,
like I have to start every conversation by saying, like, "Look, okay, I'm just an idiot who plays the genius on television."
It's like that commercial that said, "No, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night."
Exactly. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I hear you. No, man, I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've been in. Now I will tell you, I have not watched The Shape of Water. It's not in my wheelhouse.
It is well, it's not for everyone. It's definitely an odd film for sure.
No, I get you.
He was joking about how hard it is to pitch a movie where you walk into a studio and you say, they go, "So what's the movie about?" He goes, "Well, it's about a woman who falls in love with a fish man." He goes, "I make the worst movies to pitch." He's an amazing guy, though. Guillermo is an amazing, amazing guy.
Yeah, Teresa from Australia, she says, "Are you an alien?" "No, but I play one on TV."
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, no, I get it. I
so
get it.
rude to be eating M&Ms while I'm on a podcast, but I haven't.
No, dude, it's not. There. Anything goes. I vape on this thing because I quit smoking 5 years ago, but I haven't put down the habit of actually inhaling something. So I do it with almost
you inhale nicotine and stuff as well, or
almost no nicotine in it. It's basically just strawberry vanilla water.
Well, we've just made pot legal up here, so these freaking vape things are everywhere.
Oh, is that why you're eating all the M&Ms?
I'm dumbing up already.
That was a joke, man. That was a joke.
Yeah, I came in with the munchies. I'm 50 minutes late.
God dang it. That's what you were doing. I see what you're doing. You weren't stuck in traffic.
Man, it was funny though, on the subway, the number of people with either dark glasses or like just the reddest eyes. I was like, oh man.
So
here we go.
With the current state of 3D printing and the maker space that you know of right now, what would be some good advances that you might in your mind? Like if you could improve your 3D printer, what would be the first thing you would do with it to do to it?
I think the biggest issue I have with printing right now is just the size of the bed. Invariably you always want to be doing something that's just slightly bigger than what's available. I mean, I know you can break it down. I think the thing that's the toughest right now for me is just there's too many different approaches to it, especially in the software department. We need to find that one. There's like what software do you use? I mean, the Prusa is pretty great.
Well, I've got 1, 2, 3 that run Prusa firmware, right. And I've got 2 that run Duet firmware. The RepRap firmware on the Duet Wi-Fi boards.
Never tried it.
Yeah, no. Once you do, it's a different beast. And then I have a little monoprice, little bitty Delta that's like 110 millimeters by 110 millimeters.
How many printers do you have now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And are they all the deposition or the what's it called?
They're all FDM printers. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have 1, 2, 3 Cartesians, 1 Hypercube style.
Yeah, that's a self-printed one.
Yeah, well, I have 2 self-printed ones. I have one that's a Cartesian, and I can tell you about that in a second. But and then I have 2 Deltas. I have a small one, and then I have a 340 millimeter by 500 millimeter Delta. Wow. So yeah, my Hypercube is a 300 millimeter cube volume.
I definitely feel like I could go bigger.
Right.
But honestly, I think software is the biggest issue for me. I feel like I just want to. I'd like a standard. Everything feels like it's like the first. Everything feels very much like the first software out there to do that. Other than, I mean, like the Fusion stuff's pretty good. I was playing with Fusion 360. I really like. It's not great for printing so much, or maybe it is. I just don't have the skills for it. I really like Cinema 4D. I just really like, for some reason, it's an easy 3D modeling for me.
Yeah, we have a friend on here. He's called the Broken Nerd. He works with.
Aren't we all broken?
Yeah, well, and that's why he has that name. I mean, it was a really good story. I did an interview with him as well. He works with Adam Savage on Tested.
Oh yeah, fantastic! Oh my God, that guy's amazing.
Oh man, yeah.
Like, isn't that the job? That's the job I want when I grow up.
Yeah, right. When I get to be older, I want to be Adam Savage.
Yeah, as soon as I'm no longer a teenager, I'm going to be Adam Savage.
But yeah, Cinema 4D is just it's price restrictive for most people.
Right.
Yeah, because it's what $4,000 or $5,000 for
See, this I have a little secret for you. When you're a nerd, and I do an awful lot of weaseling of software where I go like, hey guys, can you you got to get your audience numbers up, I guess, and then or get a sponsor.
Well, and the cool thing is, David, I started this channel in February.
Yeah.
And I've got almost 800 subscribers.
Oh, fantastic. Seriously.
But they're a great group of people. I don't have a lot of trolls. Right. I got some that try to get my gander up by putting downvotes on here, but they still watch my show and I still get view time, so I don't care.
They're still there to put the downvote. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So, I always love those guys, the ones who will actually vote down. I was telling my son about this because he's been playing with Instagram. Don't even start me on that.
Yeah,
and he got really upset because there'd been some not bad stuff, but just some negative stuff. And I was like, dude, they're still reading everything you put.
That's right.
But you got that is like the most like literally this little girl, and I think there may have been some of those issues there, but he was trying to work that out, and it's fun having to explain this stuff to him.
Yeah. And how many kids you got, David?
I've got one, but he moves around a lot, so it's like
so it's more than one, right?
It feels like more than one on many days. It feels like more than one.
I hear you. Well, we had 4 daughters, and we had them all in the house at the same time. The oldest one now is 26, and the youngest one is 16. So
wow, I've got 5 younger sisters, but as I say, 2 of them are fake because they were stepsisters. So I grew up with 3 younger sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 5 half brothers and sisters.
Wow. I don't know how you have that many kids. I just can't.
My dad had 5. Yeah. My mother only had me and my brother. So I have 1 real brother and 4 half brothers and sisters.
Right. I just call them fake.
Yeah. Well,
they love that.
They're on my dad's half. So they're actually half. They're not fake.
Right.
I had a couple of fake ones along the way.
Right.
Okay. So,
I think it's I didn't love having sisters, but I think in the long run I love having sisters because I do feel like it informs your life a bit more,
Yeah.
I worry that Baz is the only kid and that he's going to be, you can't help it. He just becomes the center of everything. Yeah. Also, the reality is, as my mom says, it's like I didn't have a kid. I had a little brother. I don't think she was being nice about my parenting, but
yeah, I was fixing to say, knowing what I know about you, I could see that.
Well, I had this great conversation with my brother-in-law like a couple of years ago, and the kids were all sitting around. He has a couple of boys, and we had my kid. And they were asking about growing up, and I said, well, here's the deal. The reality is everyone sort of stops maturing at a certain age, and it's like for me, it was like 14. Yeah. And I turned to my brother-in-law. I said, Adam, when did how old do you feel you are? And he goes, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm a grown-up. I have 2 kids and a real job. So I don't know. I was like, what, really? I just assumed everybody stopped. I just assumed everyone had like a little teenager, just like that was who they are.
No, I think most people's brains stop at a certain age. Their body keeps aging, but their mind is like, no, I'm still like 17 or 16.
I wish I got that high. I think like 10 to 14 for me. I just,
Well, and that may be the artistic side of you that keeps you.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
So now, how much do you actually use your 3D printer? Weekly, monthly?
Weekly, yeah, I would say weekly. I find myself printing a lot of stupid little things, little tchotchke type things, but mainly for kids, because they just, like if a kid comes up with a design, I'll try to make it. I'll try to print it for them, basically. Right. So, and I get a lot of fails on that stuff because it's just trying to get the meshes right, and sometimes they're using Tinkercad, which is great.
Yeah.
I love that software.
Fantastic. Yeah,
it really is. Because I will often default to that, even if I'm trying to modify something. And that's the other thing is I really want to design something and print it. I haven't really done that other than there's this fantastic animated series called Death Note. Yeah. That my son and I were watching on Netflix. It's like anime. It's like the Japanese animation stuff.
Right.
The first season is just brilliant. Basically, like these gods of death drop a book into the human realm. A kid picks it up, and any name that he puts in it, they die, and he can write how they die. It's really fun, creepy stuff. So my son had to have a diary for school, and they said, "Oh, go to the dollar store and buy this." And I bought it. I was like, "It's just so boring," and so I turned it into the Death Note, and I 3D printed all these letters to make it look like the Death Note. And it's now the F note because he lost the D. But it's the thought that counts.
Right. Yeah. I don't do much design either. The cool thing about Tinkercad now is though you can actually open those into Fusion 360 with the same account.
Oh, I haven't done that.
So
Okay.
your designs that you have on Tinkercad, you can pull right into Fusion 360 and manipulate them there as well.
Oh, that's great. Maybe I can fix the barfing toilet that someone's just designed that wants me to 3D print that. You know, I literally took an asteroid and elongated it to have that as the vomit coming out of this. Little teeth on the toilet. He drew this great picture of what he wanted to 3D print, and I was like, I don't have the heart to not try to put it together somehow. So,
right. Well, I got a question for you, because you go to conventions and stuff like that, right?
I do. I haven't been to one for a long time, but yeah.
And I know you do Comic-Cons and you do science and electronic stuff too when you can, right?
Yeah, that's more my focus right now. Is more the pure science stuff.
Well, there's this little get together in March.
I've got to get a pen and write these things down. Oh, there you go. In March, yes.
And it is the largest in the world 3D printing convention.
No.
Yes.
3D printing, March. Okay.
Yes.
Where?
It's in Goshen, Indiana.
How do you spell Goshen?
Goshen.
Goshen, Indiana.
Yeah, this is a little rinky-dink Amish town in Indiana.
Really?
Yes.
So why the hell do 3D printers go there?
These guys, I think 10 years ago or 5 years, I can't remember how many years, they started getting together in their garage, or they announced that they were going to get together in their garage and show off their 3D printers. Well, like 100 people showed up to this guy's garage.
Oh, that's great.
So they just kept doing it every year.
Oh, that's
like last year it was so big, you couldn't hardly move. It was elbow to elbow. I mean, just thousands of people there.
Oh, that's great. And are they showing new stuff, or what's the sort of the?
Well, it shows off new stuff, like printer wise. Like Prusa had the multi-material unit there.
Oh, nice. All right.
They had different rail core designs. They had all different types of things. And it's all types of makers that use 3D prints in their makes, like the people that print on cloth and make the dragon scale stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll tell him what it's called in just a minute, guys. Shh. But that was when I debuted the printed i3 style Prusa style printer, and that's how I became even known about any of this stuff. So
that was your first public foray into the 3D printing?
Well, I went to a small show in Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
A little maker fair.
Right.
And I met Fun King 3D and a couple other guys that do YouTube. Right. Yeah. And they told me about this MRF in Indiana. It's MRF. It's Midwest Rep Rap Festival.
No, MRF
for short.
I love it.
MRRF.
MRRF. All right. MRRF. All right. I shall look into it.
Yeah, I will get a table and you'll have a place to hang out, and it's just cool, man.
That's so it's that formal. Like you actually buy a space and do all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the table was like $10 for me to set up on, and
That's great.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It really was. Me and my wife had a great time. And I don't know how many YouTube videos you watch. Have you ever heard of Tom Sandlater? He's a German guy, does 3D printing. Joel, the 3D printing nerd.
Yeah. I have seen him. Yes.
They were all there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. They were all there.
International stuff going on here.
Prusa himself was there. Joe Prusa.
Oh man,
I've
back and forth with him a few times.
I have pictures of me holding my Mark III and him signing my Mark III while it's printing.
Oh, that's great. Oh man, I'd love to get him to sign mine.
Yeah, normally he signs them in like a white pen.
Yeah.
But I had him sign mine in orange so it matches all the parts. So I had an orange paint marker. So I have a one-of-a-kind Mark III.
Very nice. Well, that's great.
Dude, but the cool thing is you get to see so many things you would never. There was a guy there that made a 3D printer that printed with glitter.
Really?
Yeah. It was a old, somebody could tell me, some type of laser machine or something, but he put some type of resin in there and used the laser to harden the resin with glitter, and it wasn't real great. You couldn't handle the parts a lot, but
it is amazing where it's at right now. I'm fascinated by the resin ones for sure.
Yeah. And I will send you a link to Murph if you want to check it out.
Oh, sure. Please do. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I mean, look, that's really more my thing right now. I find, the show's been off the air for a long time. I don't feel like I can answer the questions, a lot of the questions I get asked about the show anymore, because it's not a part of my daily life the way it was.
Right.
And I feel like I'd rather, I'd rather be at these kind of things. So it's so funny. Like today, I go to this robotics thing, and sure enough, like the guy who organized it just happened to be a Stargate nerd.
Yeah.
So he comes up, and I get a great insight into everything that they're doing, and I think I'm going to go and get like a demo of one of these things. Maybe I can get like a chin lift. Maybe I can get a lift of some sort while I'm at it. Maybe I can lose some weight. I should get these guys working on this stuff.
Right. But no, and the cool thing is, after, I don't know, probably the first 10 or 15 minutes, the nerdgasm wears off and everybody settles down, and it's just David sitting on a couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
that's what I like about it too, is that I think people are always seem a little surprised that you're interested in this stuff, but once they understand that you're just another person who likes this stuff, then you've got lots to talk about. You know what I mean? Right. Exactly. And I don't mind. Look, I'm happy to talk about Stargate. I love Stargate. I love doing it. I always say, like people always say, are there a lot of really crazy nerds and stuff? Honestly, 99.9999999 great people. I've just really enjoyed meeting them, and I continue to enjoy meeting them. I just feel like, from my perspective, going as a Stargate guy to some of these conventions now, I just don't feel like I don't feel like I got anything to give there, but I do at these other ones, Well,
let me tell you this. This was my David Hewlett moment. When I first saw you walk into a Stargate SG-1 episode, I go, baby, that's that dude from Cube.
No, did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's Cube. So you saw Cube. So Cube was we talk about the nerds and your friends. So that was that's one of my oldest high school friends made that film.
Sweet.
We've been making films together since we were 13 years old.
Wait, Shane from Prusa said I'm cut off from him. No, Shane, no. I need free stuff. But dude, Cube, to me, really and truthfully, is probably one of the best opening movies I've ever seen. With the guy laying there on the floor, and he gets up and he goes into the next room, and you just hear that thunk, and then he just falls apart.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
I tell people about that all the time. I'm like, you got to see it. All right,
he's a brilliant director.
Oh yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
And then the next scene, you were the third actor in that movie that got seen on camera.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'd say you were the second, because you see, I forgot his name, but he played Quentin. You see his hand with you laying behind him. So really, you saw you second in the movie. Okay.
I'll tell you, that was before LEDs.
Yeah.
So the floors were really freaking hot.
I bet, dude.
They were all the big tungsten lights, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And changing the colors was a big thing.
Right. So I'm gonna tell these guys, I need to tell them, okay, we're gonna open up Q&A.
Oh yeah, please.
And let them start sending me some questions here, and I'll try to keep up, David. And guys, y'all don't let me fall behind, because these guys are just as geeky as I am. And before you got on here, we had a whole Stargate list going on. Oh, I do want to tell you though, and I don't know how often you hear this or not, but there were relationships in Stargate that you see, Shepard and forget her name now, but yeah, you see those. But I think the best relationship on Stargate was between McKay and Beckett.
That was great, was it? Oh, he's a lovely guy. We had so much fun.
When he got killed on the show, and then they wrote in the stuff for McKay.
Tumor, come on,
dude. I mean, it was so awesome, though.
Yeah.
I think one of your best acting moments, or funniest acting moments, I have to say, is when you had the woman inside you, dude. You did a great job.
Oh God, that was a great episode. I had so much fun. Like I kept saying, like I had the best part on that show. Like I felt sorry for everyone else, because they had to like actually take it seriously. But I felt, and also I was a nerd who loved sci-fi on a sci-fi show.
Right.
Like, I was like just running around screaming back and forth all the time. Like,
okay.
So absolutely loved it.
All right. So we got questions coming in. Okay. If you could have anything from Atlantis, what would it be?
I'll take the Stargate.
Okay. Stargate. Oh yeah. That was easy. Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. So
although that personal shield's kind of nice. If you can figure out how I can eat M&Ms, well, I've got it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All right. So what is your favorite, most used practical print that you've ever done?
Most used practical print. My sons took up viola for some, I don't know, just literally showed up one day with a viola, but the cases were so old that they didn't latch shut. So I 3D printed these latches for it. And oh my God, it was like the best publicity I could ever have, because every time he went in, he would come back and someone would say, "Can you print some more of these things for me?" They were amazing. The kid managed to break all of them eventually, but because they're not really, particularly strong. But yeah, honestly, that was the best print I did. And I couldn't get over the fact that you 3D printed the whole thing.
Right.
Like they were all the parts they were interwoven. That blew me away that you could do that.
All right. We had a clarification of the question.
Yes.
Because the Stargate, you can't 3D print. So if there was one prop you could 3D print, well, no, yeah, but David, you can't get your, through that. So if you had one prop that you would want to print, what would it be?
I always loved those helmets, those big, what were they called? What were the Cobra helmets? What are they? Come on.
Oh yeah, the Egyptian ones. The Egyptian. Yeah, the Jaffa. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that thing. I've always loved that thing.
That would take a while to 3D print as well.
I've loved that since the movie. I just worked with Roland Emmerich, the guy who did the original Stargate movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just did a war movie called Midway, about the Battle of Midway after.
It's in post-production, right?
I think it's actually in production right now. I just finished shooting my bit like a week ago or something.
I think IMDb says that it's in post-production on IMDb.
IMDb's got to be right then.
Well, yeah, of course they do. It's on the internet, David.
They were amazing, though. They had like all these old, not old, but all these World War II historians and stuff there and everything. Just so cool. I'm probably not allowed to talk about it, but it was amazing. And I got to say to him, "Thank you for the house." He's like, "What?" I was like, "You paid for my house, Stargate. You paid for my house."
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Sean from IC3D, they actually make Filament. He's their filament maker.
Oh, cool.
And he, of course, he's not going to ask a 3D question. He's going to say, "Did you go to school for theater? If not, how did you get into it?"
Well, I got into it because, basically I sucked at everything else. I was in an all-boys school, and the only way there was like math club, chess club, and theater with the girl school. I'm like, there's no choice here. I'm going to go do theater. So that was originally how I got into it. Of course, the problem was I was in an all-boys school, so I ended up playing the women in all of the plays to start. I'll never forget falling.
That explains the dual role.
Yeah, there you go. I'd had practice. I was a prostitute in the first thing I ever played, and I fell down the stairs in my mom's high-heeled boots. And a very dubious, there was a very dubious Macbeth and Lady Macbeth as well. But then honestly, it was that friend coming up and saying he wanted to make a little film during the holidays, and that got me into it. And then I'd done film. Again, this was before video, right? So it was rare that an actor of my age, like 13, 14, would have on-set experience, without actually having to do the work, if that makes sense. So the first audition I did, I walked in, I knew how to hit my marks, I knew how to play for the camera, all that stuff, because I'd already done like 3 years of making films with my friends. So
right.
And nowadays, people ask me how to get into it now.
Yeah.
It's YouTube. Make your own stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How to do it.
Well, I'm on here 2 hours a day, David. Come on, man.
Yeah, true. Good point. Yeah.
But okay, so next is, what's your favorite brand of filament that you've used so far?
I feel so guilty because all I've really used is the Prusa and the Amazon stuff. That's literally all I've got. I got to say, I love the look of that Filamentium stuff. Is that what it's called? those beautiful colors, man. They're just stunning. But
well, and you also said you like the polyalchemy stuff, this shiny stuff.
that's gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid I haven't really I think I'm a bit of like a purist on this stuff. I'm like, well, it does one color, and I'm gonna damn well use all of my colors. I'm gonna use my black and gray or black and silver before I move to anything else.
Right. Okay. All right. So next one, somebody telling you need to get a resin-based printer.
Look, the resin thing is just, to me, that's like, it's just the whole concept of the resin printer is beautiful to me. The idea of a laser baking a fluid into a solid is like something out of, Logan's Run. I love it.
Right. What's your most disappointing spaghetti print? Have you had one of those where it just failed and failed miserably?
Yeah, I'm so paranoid. I do things like I literally set up the webcam.
Yeah.
And put it so that it's facing the printer.
Yeah.
And then I just keep it running so that I can check on my iPhone upstairs. So when I go to bed, I'll check my printer through the phone.
You really need to get this thing called a Raspberry Pi and this thing called Octoprint.
Because I have a Raspberry Pi.
It's a web-based system that runs, and it has a webcam. You just plug it into USB, and it'll sit there and watch it. You can watch it on the web interface.
Well, that's basically what I do with the PC here. But I love that. That's great.
Yeah. All right,
and I love the Raspberry Pi. Oh my God! Have you seen the little Raspberry Pi Zeros?
Oh yeah. Oh. Yeah. The actual Mark III has a header that you can plug a Raspberry Pi 0 right into the back of it and run Octoprint right on the machine.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Genius.
You need a Mark III, David. You need a Mark III.
I'm getting the sense that might be something worth pursuing for Christmas.
Right. There you go. And $7.98 for a kit. It's really a great price.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Patrick Nijenhoff asked a question. Do you remember the gate ship? The puddle
gate ship 1?
Yeah, the one that you did not want to call. He said he printed it way back when you first got your Prusa. And I guess he tagged you on Twitter or something.
Yeah. I think I went back and forth with him, didn't I, about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And he said, if so, can I build a model for you and send it to you?
I never turn anything down.
Okay.
Or send me the files. I'll print it.
There you go. It's probably on Thingiverse. All right.
Oh, is it?
Fun King 3D says, and his name's Glenn, by the way. He's a good guy. Him and his son do a show together called Fun King 3D.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. I'll have to check him out.
I want to know about that cool looking chair behind you.
Oh God, right. Oh, there you go. So this is, I should get out of the way so you can see it. So this is actually from, this would be Stargate Universe. And they were throwing stuff out. There's another piece over here. Can you see? I can't see if you can see it or not. I don't think you can. Let me see it. I'll just rotate this for a second. Sorry, made a little bit queasy. In the corner there, this here, where's my hand? No, other way. I should know this.
Yeah, I see it.
This here is a unit from Universe as well. So the problem with film is it's such a waste. When they finish working, and I'm sitting on a yoga ball, just so as I have to point out that the farting noises are in fact the yoga ball. Right. I'm not that old yet. They just basically trash everything once they're done. And I tried to talk them into letting me take everything, but we ended up taking part of the set in the hopes of doing a movie with it, and we did a movie with it, but it got destroyed. Anyways, a lot of this stuff got tossed again when our film finished. Like I came in, I left, I came back, everything was gone. I was like, what? Wait, where the hell is everything? Because there were whole walls of that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was just gorgeous. And again, all tossed, just literally thrown in a dumpster and taken away.
I thought about that years ago with all the sets that they build.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting feedback off your speaker now. When they build those sets and stuff, and I'm like, they tear those down and throw that lumber away a lot of times.
They throw a lot of the stuff away. They also would rather destroy it than have someone else have it show up in someone else's film.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of that you could take apart and build low-income houses with or something.
This is it. Well, there's a few companies here that are starting to recycle stuff, and the industry's got to get wise on this stuff because they're going to get nailed for it. It is one of the most wasteful industries out there, and yet everybody in it is clamoring about climate change and all the rest of it.
Well, and I mean, I guess it could be getting less so now that you have the CGI and all that stuff, but it had to have been so wasteful before.
It still is, because I mean, keep in mind, they still build a lot of the platforms and stuff for these things.
Yeah.
Still, even with the green screen, there's a lot of platform builds and just sort of structures that they work with. So,
Teresa asked, would you come to Australia for either maker stuff or a sci-fi convention?
Oh my God. How about both? We had so much fun in Australia. It's one of those ones that, I understand it's very expensive to get us out there, but and the other thing is that there's no way I'm going to Australia without my family, because it's just, we had the best time out there. It's this weird kind of place where you show up and it's completely foreign, but you feel completely at home. For some reason, I was like, I feel like I could live here. Like, even though it has the most terrifying collection of creatures in it.
All right.
I just, like, everything kills you. And Australians will literally run off, grab them and bring them back and say, this is the most dangerous spider. And you're like, why are you holding it then? Like, they're just bizarre about it. They're so proud of their dangerous animals. And I should hate it, but I absolutely love it. Love it out there. So yeah, whenever, any opportunity I can.
Turing Carnes 3D Tank says, note the Doctor Who scarf in the background.
It is indeed. Although the stripes go the right way. Oh, they do. I had another one that the stripes went the wrong way. But here's a problem. Much as I love the Doctor Who scarf, I'm allergic to wool.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's very hard to find a good scarf. That one is actually made out of, like, I don't know, nylon or something. But
I've heard of that allergy, but I got diagnosed with one like last year before last, that I had never heard of. I'm allergic to the cold.
Ha. Welcome to Canada, man.
No, I mean, really, it breaks me out in hives.
Really?
The cold does. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could use that excuse.
The air conditioning blowing on my arm and on my skin will break me out in hives if I don't take the medicine that I'm supposed to take for it. Yeah. I've never been allergic to cold.
For that? Seriously?
Yes.
I've never heard of that.
It's called cold urticaria. It's some people have extreme. They can't drink like ice water or anything.
Real? So wait, can you drink ice water though? Is it effective?
Yeah. It's just my skin. I get an allergic reaction on the skin. Everything else is fine.
I've never heard of that.
It's the weirdest thing, dude, and it just sprung up. I'd never had it before in my life.
Well, it's lucky you live south then.
Well, I mean, I grew up diving into the natural springs here, which are 69 degrees year round.
Wow.
Yeah.
So never had any problems.
Never had a problem. But the doctor told me, he said, if you'd have dove in, now you might have died. It might have killed you.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what I said.
I thought I was weird because I was allergic to pineapple.
Yeah, I just don't like pineapple.
Well, I love pineapple.
Okay, so let's move on because they're killing me with questions here. Robbie Mack says, do you still have a Commodore 64?
I don't. I have a Sinclair. But only because my wonderful father-in-law, who's no longer with us, I'm afraid, he kept it because he keeps everything. And it was one of those prized possessions where we were going through his stuff, and I was like, oh my God, the ZX Sinclair. So no, I've actually been looking to get a Commodore. I was thinking about buying one.
Yeah.
Because they're not that expensive and they actually be kind of fun, but right now I feel that'd be a hard one to get past my wife, I think. It's hard to explain the educational benefits of that.
I still have a VIC 20, so I don't.
Oh, do you? Oh wow. Yeah. Now, was it the original one or did you pick up another one?
No, it's one I picked up later.
Because I have this theory, which is that all of those old computers are going to be worth a fortune because they're so disposable.
Yeah.
Like that's the very nature of antiques, of the things that people don't have any value. They just throw it out. Like all those all the CRT screens, all those beautiful monochrome. Remember those beautiful monochrome screens that came with the computers? Oh, yes. I love those things.
All right. Becky S. asked about what equipment / software needed for a kid to make YouTube vids.
I would start without it. Webcam. Just do a webcam. There's a lot of free software out there. I can't remember. It's OBS, I believe it is.
Yeah. OBS Studio is probably the best out there.
Is that what you're using? Yeah, they should be asking you this, not me. But honestly, I wouldn't spend any money to start because first off, the kids are so fickle anyways. The big thing is, as a treat for my son for his birthday, I got him this, what is it called? I actually got the box still here because I'm still figuring it out. the AverMedia Gamer Portable. You seen this thing?
Yeah.
So basically, you can plug in an external SD drive. Because the biggest issue I find is space.
Right.
Like unless you're streaming, like it just takes up so much space.
Right.
So yeah, big hard drive and get some free software. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I do is live and streamed. So, I mean, I've got 15-hour live streams. So
wow. So wait a sec. So you live stream it, and then does YouTube automatically archive it all for you? Is that the?
Yeah, it's all on their cloud servers.
That's great. God, they are amazing, aren't they?
None of it local.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay, so let's go on down. Joe Paddock asks, what do you feel would be your next step in 3D printing or in tech in general? What's the next thing David Hewlett's looking at?
I think it's robotics right now. I really want to combine. I want to 3D print. I need a good robotic arm to 3D print, because I think that would be a good thing to show the kids that you can do. There's a few of them, but the parts are really expensive, and there's Nerdgasm, I guess, is a guy. He's Barnacules, whatever his name is.
Barnacles, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful one that I was looking into, but it's still a little steep for me right now.
Jerry was at Murph last year too.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
He's sick.
Yeah.
I just saw it. Like he's
battling clinical depression for sure.
Oh no, this was a physical thing though.
Yeah, he's got some other ailments as well. Yes.
Jeez, I mean, it's kind of. I think that's probably why I love YouTube, is I can share even my medical issues with people.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, the arm that he has, I can't remember what it is. That one looked like a possible for me. But I actually, if anyone's got a good suggestion, send them, please, because I really want to. I want to 3D print a nice, ideally like 6 degrees of freedom kind of robotic arm.
Man, I'm way behind on chat here. Shane from Prusa says resin, the SL1 from Prusa.
Really? So resin is beautiful. Like I can't wait for that. So yeah, bring it on.
It is cool, but somebody does make a good point here. It is messy because it's got a little cleanup after. You got to wash it with alcohol and set it with UV lights and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It takes a little work after. It's not like one of those that you pop off like you do off your FDM and you're done. There's some work after.
People forget that there's a lot of work on even just those though. I mean, there's still cleanup on a lot of these prints anyways. I mean, more of the slice and dice stuff, but
yeah. Stephen the Lightspeed asked a question I'm not going to ask.
Is your downvote? That's your downvote right there.
Downvote. You can't downvote questions, but he put a winky face out to the side of it. He knew I wasn't going to ask that. Robbie Mack says, do yoga balls work? Thought about getting one, but seems so Ronco-ish.
Here's the idea was the kid and I and his friends will come down and play Fortnite for way too long. And I thought if they're just sitting in their chairs, they're gonna get my gut.
Right.
So I got these yoga balls. Here's the problem though. I think I've destroyed my hips. Because I don't know, there's something about it. Like I love it. And the other problem is, of course, you get a couple of kids down here and they're bouncing off the computers, the walls, and everything. So, she's like, oh, my hard drive's out too, don't I? My Drobo's just gone down, so I'm trying to figure that out.
All right. Patrick Niegenhoff said yes, that model is on Thingiverse, but he wants to build one with like LEDs and miniatures in it.
Oh, bring it! Yeah. Little miniature me's.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me go down through here real quick. You and Todd said he met Tom Baker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up. The chat starts rolling and I can't catch it.
No worries. I'm here with my M&Ms.
All right. Yeah, that question. I got that. All right. Okay. Oh, there's a Canadian man on here named James. He does a channel called Print and Play, and this isn't a question, but I call him my favorite Canardian.
Oh
because I make jokes about Canardians all the time, but I can't make a joke about you. You're British. You were born in Britain.
I was born in Britain, raised in Canada, and then raised in Toronto, and then emigrated to the States. So I actually have 3 passports.
Yeah, where do you live at now, David?
In Toronto.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
Talk about cold.
Wow.
It'll kill you.
All right. More.
Yeah, I actually call myself a Canardian.
A Canardian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the Canardian thing, and because mine is and it's with a K, by the way, not because the way I do the Kuntry 3D is Kuntry.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
what's the basis of that? Where did that come from?
Because I'm from the country, and it was just a shtick, the Kuntry, because most people think people are rednecks that come from the country and
don't know how to spell. I see.
Right.
All right.
And if you look at my logo, it's got baling wire and duct tape on it. And
I got
the U in country is a horseshoe.
Duct tape is universal, my friend.
Oh, I know it is. I know that. So are rednecks, man. They're everywhere. It's a state of mind. It's not a place where you're from.
All right. Very good.
Okay. Okay. Do you follow Bill and Britt at Punish Props Academy on YouTube? Have you ever seen their stuff?
Oh, they did. I think they did a pop figure for me.
They might have.
Which I got given at Dragon Con, and I was promised it was going to be mailed to me, and it never showed up. The guys who organized it were supposed to do it, and they never did. So I lost this thing, and I've lamented it since then. It was the most beautiful thing that they've done. It was gorgeous. I wish they should do a Stargate pop figures. I don't know why they didn't.
I'm caught up to where we were talking about Jerry. They say he has a blood clot and he's going in for surgery in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. The blood clot, they can actually be quite dangerous, can't they?
Oh, and Carl from NAC 3D Designs, he said if you're in Toronto, they may pick you up on the way to Murph. He's getting a bus or something, and he's picking up everybody across the Midwest and stuff.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He said
the nerd bus. I love it.
the nerd bus. Brian Vine says, question for David. You want to teach me how to play Fortnite?
Oh my God. It is. I've had to take my son aside a few times and go like, you cannot talk to me like that. Like you just can't. He gets so frustrated. And then he started this thing now where I'm actually trying to talk. He wants to do YouTube. And I said, if you want to do YouTube, you got to start recording YouTube videos. So he's taken to getting up early in the morning now. He's a late guy like me and my wife. You know, she's from theater day. Like her dad ran a theater in London. They got up at noon. So we even just getting up for school is tough for us. He's now getting up at 6 a.m. to train.
Wow.
So he gets up, comes and gets me, and we go down and play. I make sure he eats like a yogurt or something before he goes in. But and we'll quote unquote train for an hour because he wants to. They're starting a competitive thing and he wants to be in a league and all this kind of stuff. So, but I actually want to start streaming those because they're actually really fun because we have these conversations that you'd never have if you weren't playing video games with your kid.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it's a very long way of saying, yeah, we should check it out sometime.
I never really was. I've never played Fortnite. I'm not into big video games. You ever play the game Myst?
Oh my God, Myst. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Riven was the next one.
Yeah, Riven and then Exile and
Myst, but Myst was like truly like the first kind of like immersive game where you just lost yourself in those beautiful puzzles and stuff. Oh
yeah, and when they would start the live action videos smoothly with the graphics, and you're just sitting there like, oh, it was so awesome.
They were absolutely brilliant. They re-released them recently. There was a Kickstarter. They re-released them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was gonna get again. I just couldn't warrant the money, but I'm trying to be good, raise a child, and feed him and all. But yeah, it's that was one of the most beautiful games. But for a long time I deleted every game I had on my computers because I knew I'd get nothing done. And then when the kid was born, when the kid got into it, that's when I started picking it up again. And I'm like, I suck at them all, but I love them very much. So yeah, I enjoy them.
Sean reminded me that James from Print and Play, he prints and builds like miniature arcade cabinets that go on like your desk.
No.
Yeah. So I need to hook you up with James.
Yeah, please do, because that's what I want to use the Raspberry Pi for, right?
Well, that's what he does. He uses that and orange pies and stuff like that. He built one for have you heard of Uncle Jesse? Does a YouTube channel. He does cosplay stuff.
Huh? No, I don't.
He built one for him and for IC3D that he took to EARF, the East Coast Rep Festival. Its inaugural was last year.
Oh wow. Oh, that's great. Okay, we'll have to. Does he have like a site or something? Can you sort of forward me his info or something? Or?
Yeah, I'll send you his info. Where he's got a YouTube channel and stuff like that.
Oh, great. Okay, so I can check it out. That's amazing. That's one of those things again that I think if I can show the kids that you can do this stuff with these things, they can see the value of it and hopefully figure it out themselves. So
right. And Sean from IC3D, I think it was. Wait, let me. Nope, it was Turing Carnes. He said, David, you need to get your face 3D scanned and upload to Thingiverse.
Can you imagine how many of those? I have one of the earlier ones because years and years and years ago, I did a film again with Vincenzo from Cube, and they 3D scanned my head way back when. Yeah. And then they created what they call the mat, right? The rug, and it's the flattened version of your 3D face.
Right.
And it's the creepiest thing you've ever seen. But but yeah, and recently, in fact, what was it in? I think it was probably for Shape of Water, because originally something was supposed to happen. And they did a full 3D scan of my head for that. Oh, and for Incorporated. So there's got to be a bunch of them floating around. But yeah, I do want to do that. It's funny. Well, that's actually one of those. I want to do it with a Kinect.
Well, I got a question. Can you pull up a browser?
I can.
Go to Thingiverse.
Yeah.
And search for Kuntry.
All right. Thingiverse. It comes up right away. I'm there so often. Oh wow. Oh dude.
You see my face on there?
Oh, it's great. Oh my God, that mug is freaking great.
One of my followers modeled that during one of my live streams.
What?
Yeah, that's not a 3D scan. He actually modeled that while he was watching the live stream.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And then other people took it and put it on different things. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So.
I love the beard. The beard's right? Looks like you got like a beaver tail.
I know.
That's great.
It was really freaky when he sent it to me. I was like, "Oh, dude, wait, when did you do that?" He goes, "I did it during one of your live streams."
See, oh God, I'm so jealous of that. That's the stuff. The 3D design stuff, honestly, is just to me is just like an added bonus to this whole 3D printing thing. I just love this idea of being able to manipulate things. They're talking about today in this surgical robotics thing. One of the new advancements that they're making is they call it like GPS for your body, where they'll 3D scan whatever part of you they need to operate on, and then the GPS will figure out how to get the tools in to do the things they need to do.
Oh, wow.
It's all 3D modeled like CAT scans combined with X-rays, combined with like, I guess, sonar stuff or whatever the hell it's called. It's amazing, amazing stuff. I love the 3D modeling stuff's amazing. And being able to do that is, God, that's great. What did he do it in? Or she do it in?
What is that? It's a free program. I don't know if 3D Printing Mama, are you here? I haven't seen him talk much.
Huh.
But I forgot.
I'm curious to know how, because that's like really.
But it's one of those that you use. It's kind of like you start off with a circle, but it's like clay, and you start just manipulating it.
Like ZBrush or something?
Yeah, it's kind of like ZBrush, but it's a free version that's on Windows 10 or something.
I already like it more.
Yeah.
I love free. I loved Blender for ages. I mean, it's complicated, but I loved Blender.
Well, see, Blender to me, when I watched the Broken Nerd model his stuff, it looks like Cinema 4D to me, the way that you model things in Blender.
It's very similar, but I find the interface is easier on, again, as you say, you're paying for it. I was lucky enough not to have to, so I didn't know it was that expensive. But but Blender was free, and I loved it. It was, and the stuff that people are making with it is just brilliant. How is it for 3D printing though?
Yeah, we have a guy on here, Ricky Tanner. He's actually a singer in Nashville. He sings for a living in Nashville.
Oh, great.
He also 3D sculpts and 3D designs in Blender, and he makes like the G.I. Joe like cars and trucks and stuff of that nature.
Oh, nice. Well, that's the other amazing thing is you can print any of these things now. I'm tempted to get back into model railways again so that I can start printing stuff for it.
I was told that's called Sculptress.
Sculptress.
Yeah.
That's the free software that you can do.
It's not with Windows. It's free though. You can download it. It's free.
Ah, okay. I got so many notes I got to make on this.
I know, right? Get your notebook out.
Sculptress. Okay. Yes. I have to write stuff down now, otherwise I forget. It's shameful.
Chris Self said you should look here. Get your notebook back out. This is for your robot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it. Robo arm.
It's called InMove. NINMOOV.
Move. Okay. And that's a 3D printable. Right.
Yeah, it's now from what I remember, one of them's a full robot and the other one's a robot arm. Bye, Robbie Mack. Have fun in St. Augustine, buddy. He's the one that designed all my logos and all that stuff.
Oh, cool.
Did it for free, so I have to tell him bye.
Oh, good. All right.
He's from Indiana, though, so I don't have to tell him bye much.
All right. Okay. So InMove. All right. And there's an arm and a. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And it's an open source robot.
And that's what I like. Look, I'm a huge open source fan too. I think that's the way to go.
Well, one problem.
What Microsoft's doing with Azure right now, I think is brilliant.
Yeah. One problem I have with open source in some parts of things is that it's open source just so they can say it's open source.
And then it's not? Like
well, they don't really want you to do anything with their open source stuff, and they get kind of upset if you do. But
wasn't MakerBot originally open source and then they closed it?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't studied MakerBot that much. It's been out of my price range.
One of the first things I saw about, well, one of my geeky research things was a documentary that followed MakerBot, I guess, when it first started. Maybe they were just looking for some kind of conflict, but that was the one that they talked about where they were talking about it making it totally open source for everybody, and then they had to sort of bring it all back in house again for some reason.
Okay, well, David, we have ran over our time here by a few minutes. I mean, we don't have to quit. If you want to keep talking, we'll keep talking.
Why don't we you know what? Why don't we make it nice and even? We'll go till like 8.
Okay, we can do that. That's 11 minutes.
10 minutes. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then once we're done, I'll say bye to them, and then me and you'll get back on and talk for a minute, and then we'll go.
Perfect.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just rubbing it in, aren't you?
Say that again.
You're just rubbing it in.
Oh no.
We'll say goodbye to you guys, and then we'll keep talking.
Well, yeah, right. Then we'll keep talking. No, actually, I was talking to him the other day. I worked for Walmart as a programmer.
Oh yeah.
And in Bentonville, Arkansas, at the corporate office for 5 years.
I mean, what sort of stuff were you programming for them?
I was on the startup team for SamsClub.com, Walmart.com.
Oh, wow.
I worked on their grocery replenishment team, and I also worked on their gas pumps for SamsClub.com. Or for Sam's Club.
On their gas pumps?
Yeah. If you go to their gas pumps, you see the screen with like video, and it's got like 6 buttons around the side of it where you can interact with stuff. Well, the original thing was where you could sit there and you could actually like choose stuff that you wanted to buy and read more about it and all this other stuff. I wrote that interface plus the interface that they can watch you pump gas from Bentonville, Arkansas, every Sam's Club pump in the nation.
No, really?
Yeah, they can pull up any pump they want to and watch it pump gas and see what you paid with and everything.
Hey, buddy, what's up? Oh, dinner's ready?
Dinner's 5 minutes.
5 minutes, perfect. I'm going to be wrapping up in about 5. Thanks, bud. You want to come say hi? Oh, you're here. Someone's come to steal the M&Ms.
Hey,
this
buddy.
Is Sebastian or Baz. This is Walter.
Hey, Walter.
We're geeking out about 3D printing, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Wait, don't ruin your dinner because I'm going to get in lots of trouble with Mom if you eat all those and then.
Sebastian, you need to tell your dad to get the multicolor so you can print things in color.
Isn't that beautiful? And that looks like our gecko.
Yeah, the colors, but
yeah.
Well,
it's so hard to impress the kids these days.
Oh, I know. I told you, man. I mean, they walk around with a supercomputer in the palm of their hand, though, David.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. All right, that's it. Last one. Okay. And now scram, kid.
Okay, so Justin 3D says, after talking with Walter, do you think you, David, will buy an MK3?
I think
I didn't ask that.
Already want to.
Right? No, I understand.
I will for sure. I know I'm going to end up with another. I'm going to end up another one. It'll probably be a Prusa. The Mark III. I've been eyeing. Look, originally I was going to look. I was looking to buy the Mark III original. Oh, wait, maybe I do have the Mark III. Wait a second. Which one do I have? Now I'm rethinking it. Wait a second. What do I have?
Does yours have threaded rods for the frame?
Mark II. It is. The i3. It's the. I get confused with the i3. It's the i3 Mark II.
Yeah. See the I don't know if you can see it on my screen or not. Probably not. Here, I'll pick it up.
Not quite.
The frame of this one is actually aluminum extrusions, not threaded rods.
Huh. Okay.
It's much more stable and easy to get leveled and flattened and all that stuff.
Although I was very surprised. There's one part that I over tightened and cracked, but honestly, I glued it. It was fine. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. You know.
Shane from Prusa says that I need to tell him to get you hooked up with an MK3.
Oh, great.
And what? Brian Vine says, Shane from Prusa Research, dude, hook a nerd up.
They should start selling them to me instead of giving them to me. Although I paid actually no, I did. I bought the one that I got.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've bought every one that's come in my house. Now, I did get a message from a Chinese manufacturer that says they're going to send me 2, but I haven't seen them yet. So, I'm waiting.
What's the company? Oh no, I guess
no, it's Creality.
Yeah,
they make the CR10. You probably heard of that.
God, I don't know. I read so much about it. I've stopped reading about it now because I've got one. But now I'm going to have to look. I got to see how all this Mark III. The multi-filament thing is just genius. I mean, that's just. Again, it's like when that first the color laser printer came out, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Like it was just, it was gorgeous. Then the inkjet, and you're like I'll tell you this. I mean, I pull a lot of these things apart with the kids, but part of it's just like, I mean, a laser printer and an inkjet printer, they're the coolest things. Like the way they're actually, who the hell comes up with this stuff?
Who sits around and thinks of that? Yeah. Now I'm reading, I've got a teleprompter now. Shane from Prusa Research types in, here's my line. He put, Walter, David, I will talk to Shane and get you hooked up. He owes me a few favors. I'll get you hooked up and it will be all me.
Woo, well, God, thank you. I mean, that's, I
will talk to Shane and get you hooked up, David.
I'd actually, what I would probably, I mean, I talked about donating that to a school or something, because I just worry that as much as, I mean, I use it a lot, but I thought in the downtime, it could be being used by kids. And I tried to take it into the local school and they wouldn't take it because they're terrified of it.
Oh yeah.
They don't want the kids to get hurt or, because come on, I've touched it a million times.
That's one of the problems with the i3 style, and that's why they buy the Ultimakers or, you know, the Dremels that are completely encased, so a kid can't reach in there and just grab a hold of the hot end and stuff like that.
Although the hot end's not, I mean, it's hot, but it's not, I mean, I burn myself all the time on that.
It'll draw a blister.
It'll draw a blister, yeah, exactly. Well, then they won't touch it again.
Right, well, that's true. You know, but they can't allow kids to learn lessons like we did.
No, I know. Look, all of the playgrounds are made of rubber over here.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
I know. I've been to a couple of those. I'm like, what happened to the rocks we used to have?
Yeah, like literally. I remember learning how to play. I learned how to play football on asphalt.
Yeah. There you go.
Play field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Now we sound old.
Yeah, right. I know, man.
Get up 5 hours before I went to bed.
Right.
Walk to school.
Yeah, you know, you were talking about earlier before we got on here that it still mesmerizes you to watch, you know, it lay down plastic. Somebody asked on here, do you really like that first layer porn, that first layer?
You know what I do? I have to confess, and I'm going to sound like a freak. I slow it down to 50%.
Oh, yeah?
And I just watch it go. I like 50%. I feel like, so then it's just laying down. I feel like I'm getting a good bed. And also it becomes almost musical. There's this kind of, try it.
Yeah.
Just start printing it like 50% and listen to it. It's like technology singing to you. It's like a religious experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that, I swear to God, I haven't been partaking of the Ontario cannabis. So
no, well, you know, there's a site where you can take a MIDI file, a music MIDI file, and you can put it in and tell it, you know, how many motors you have, and it'll turn it into G code that'll play that song on your printer.
Oh God, that's great.
I know you've seen the floppy disk that do like the Darth Vader intro.
Isn't that genius? Oh my God, that's genius. Yes.
It's the same. It's the same thing. They use stepper motors in those drives just like on these. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I actually tried to, we were using an old, because again, kids don't have a clue what they mean by disk. One of the funniest little things was my son was using this program. I can't remember what program it was now. And I said, well, just save it. And he's like, well, how do you save it? I was like, you just click the save button.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't see a save button. I was like, it's right there, the disk. And then I went, the disk. You don't know what that means, do you?
Right.
It's like the DOS days.
All right, guys, I haven't seen any more questions, so we're going to get off here. David, I'm going to kick it over to me and tell them goodbye.
You do that, man. Pleasure. Thank you all for the questions. You're wonderful.
And I'll be right back, okay?
All right, we'll be.
All right, guys, thank you for joining me on Kuntry Klub Live, and I want to thank David Hewlett for being here and being such a sport. Sorry he tried to rush home and was a little late and thought he had to rush to get here, but I know the Kuntry Klub. You guys will wait. Thanks, guys, and we will see you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's the call-in show, so y'all get ready. Y'all get to talk to me live. See you then.